Gentle parenting is not always gentle on you. Choosing that gentle, compassionate, aware, awakened parenting is not always easy, especially when it goes against everything you were raised with, your inherited subconscious patterned parenting. If you've thought, should this feel better than it does? Should this be easier? You're not broken. You're not doing it wrong. You're just doing something that you've never learned to do. You're doing something that hasn't been modeled for you that is radically different. And that real change can feel really difficult in the moment, especially in the beginning when you're just starting off with this type of parenting. It can feel really uncomfortable, a little bit clumsy, and anything but gentle. It may appear peaceful on the outside, but your internal world can feel really uncomfortable when you begin this new parenting process. And that is totally normal. It will get easier. I'm Julie Cornish, and this is the Rewired Parent, a space for transforming your parenting from the inside out. Let's talk about the false expectations around that gentle parenting. And again, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it gentle parenting, compassionate parenting, aware parenting, conscious parenting. The name I don't feel makes much of a difference. I like aware parenting because it can be all of those things. And sometimes it can look very uncomfortable and clumsy, but you're still in that aware state. So I like to refer to it as aware parenting because you're bringing awareness into your patterns, whether or not they're showing up that day or not, you're still parenting from an aware state. So there's this idea floating around that if you're doing it right, if you're doing that respectful parenting right, then you should feel calm. You should feel grounded, connected, centered. You should feel all zenned out all of the time. Well, if you're practicing that type of parenting, you know that's not true. It's not the case. That's not really how it's working out. And like I said before, it may appear that way from the outside, but a lot of the times when you're working through something with your child, your internal state is feeling overwhelmed. Am I doing this right? This is so frustrating. If I just told the kid that they're, going to lose their screen time for the rest of their life, they would probably listen to me and that would be so much easier. But on the outside, you may appear to be calm and collected. The truth of the matter is you're not just managing your kids' big feelings. You're managing and meeting parts of yourself that didn't get this kind of patience growing up. I am a child of the 80s and the 90s, growing up on those kind of sitcoms where you weren't taught to express your emotions. You were taught if your emotions are irritating the people around you, you need to check yourself, shut it down, get out of the room, go away, take your behaviors or anger or sadness and get away from us. We don't want that in our face. And so we're parenting from a place where we're trying to help our kids express their emotions in a healthy way because literally emotions are energy in motion. They are meant to be processed and moved through the body. When we stifle our emotions, when we are told that we shouldn't be expressing our anger or sadness or super over the top excitement, then they get stifled and they store in the body and then they come up later as issues. And so it doesn't really feel always easy and gentle when we're helping our kids express those big emotions that we're having when we don't always have the tools to express our own big emotions, or we haven't been validated that it's okay to do that. And as you work through this process, as you're helping your children learn that it's okay to express their emotions, learning to put words to the way that they're feeling, sadness, anger, frustration, guilt, shame, whatever they are, it can feel uncomfortable. And you're learning as they're learning. And that is something, if it's age appropriate, that you can express to your child. Say, these are not things that I was taught when I was a kid. I'm learning them along with you, and I'm doing my best. And that is a good learning tool for your child as well as they grow. And then they can start expressing that, hey, it's okay to not be doing things perfectly and to be learning as you go. I will link in the description a little emotion wheel that is nice to have printed out. There's all types of varieties you can get on the internet and find a million of them. Is an emotion wheel, and it describes all types of emotions and then the core emotions that they relate to. Super helpful, and I recommend having one of those somewhere in your house. So as we're moving through this aware parenting, we want to be in that place of being soft and grounded. Some days it's easier than others. Some days I wake up and I'm feeling really connected, grounded. It's easier to connect or with my kids. I am not so easily triggered when they're starting off right in the morning being super loud before I've had my coffee. I can manage it a lot more. And then when the tables, aren't turned and you've had maybe not a good night's sleep, or like I've told you before, I live on the same property as my co-parent. Sometimes it's really nice and sometimes it sucks. So if we've had an argument and I'm feeling stressed from that, no matter if you're like married or single or whatever it is, there's always days where you have a heavier stress load or you didn't sleep as well, or you're not feeling well, and that will ramp up that reactivity. Of course, the goal is always to be soft and grounded, but that's not always our reality. You can feel reactive, overwhelmed, or tired. And so when you're feeling that way, you're kind of fighting through your own stress responses and your nervous system is dysregulated. And that is going to cause some conflict in your home with your response. You're not going to be generally parenting in that aligned state. And that can feel frustrating. That can bring up guilt and shame and make you feel like you're not doing a good job, make you feel like you're two steps back. And I just want to validate and remind you that it's not always going to be perfect. It's often not going to be perfect. It's going to be real. You're going to keep trying, and it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and that's just part of parenting. It's part of parenting, and it's in a new way that you haven't practiced before or hasn't been modeled for you. And there can be grief along with that shame and guilt that you're not getting it right, grief that it feels too hard and that you maybe don't want to do it anymore. You want to give up. Don't give up. Keep going. It will get easier as you move forward. And there's all those cycles and stages of life, but you're never going to get to a point and say, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I didn't put so much effort into that aware parenting. It's not gonna come up in your life. If you do give up, what's likely going to happen is at some point you're going to say, I wish that I would have stuck with it. I wish that I would have kept nurturing that part of me that needed to be reparented, that part of me that still needed that love and connection. Because what is true is that this gentle, aware parenting isn't about how peaceful the moments feel. It's about the safety that you're building over time within yourself and for your children. It's not about how well you perform. It's not about how calm you stay. It's about what's happening beneath. It's about the growth that you're instilling in yourself and your children. It's about the big changes that you're making, the paths that you're rewiring in your brain. That's what it's about. It's about showing up when it's difficult. It's about continuing to try to make those connections when you don't want to. You're choosing connection again and again. It's rewiring your brain. You're being an incredible example for your children. You're showing them, even when something's difficult, you persevere and you keep doing it because that's what your values are. That's what's important to you. So I don't want you to think of those days where you're not doing well as failure. I want you to think of them as growth. And I've said it in the past, all of our growth, all of our wins are built on a mountain of failure. So we're going to have those days that are failures and we're going to learn from them and we're going to just keep going up and up and up, and it's going to get easier. It's going to get better. You'll see improvement and you'll see it in your children and your connection with them. This aware parenting feels hard because it is hard. You're relearning how to parent yourself and parent your children. You're changing the patterns and the habits, and that's difficult and it takes a huge amount of energy. So be kind to yourself. The effort that you're putting forth is enough. You're not falling behind. You're not alone. You're not doing it wrong. You're enough. The effort you're putting forth is enough. And if you're showing up, if you're here watching this video, if you're doing the work, then you're doing great. Then be proud of yourself and keep moving forward. If you feel like sharing, I would love to know one moment where gentle parenting felt really hard for you. I think that if we kind of connect over that, if we name those moments, then that's going to help another parent who's watching this video and sees that. If we can be honest and raw and talk more about that and make it more commonplace, make it known that this isn't an easy process. It's not meant to be easy. We're creating a new life for ourselves and for our family. And that's huge. And we want to support and encourage as many parents to do that as we can. And I think that encouragement comes from sharing. So if you're willing and you feel like sharing something in the comments, even if you're just sharing where in the world you're from, I would love to see that too. And if you're willing to share a real moment in your life where gentle parenting felt difficult, but you stuck with it, I would absolutely love and appreciate to see that. If this video today resonated with you, I would greatly appreciate for you to like and subscribe. It helps me to know which videos people are resonating with. It helps me to know that there are people out there that need this. If you check down in the description, you'll find some free resources, and I have a workbook there for rewiring your parenting that can be really helpful along this journey. Please check those out. Please like and subscribe if this video spoke to you. And I just want to remind you that your healing matters, your growth matters, and you matter. And the work you do today is making you stronger and more connected with your family. So keep it up. Great job. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.